The college baseball experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, and you can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And it is showtime here once again on the college baseball experience. What's going on, everybody? I'm the host today, Noah Bieniek, and I'm joined by a special guest today, Will Mossa of Overdue Sports, former college baseball player himself. Will, let's bask in the old glory days. First off, how you doing today, my friend? And second off, kind of where did you grow up? Where did you play? Kind of your expertise, kind of what got you into college baseball, and how excited are you for this year's College World Series?
Well, I'll kick it off with the last part. This is my favorite time of year. If you follow us on Twitter, it's no surprise. This is really what I live for, is covering college baseball. It's why I started Overdue Sports in the beginning. This is my favorite time of year. Omaha is something super special. I've never been. Me and Noah were just talking pre-show about it. So my plan is to get there next year. My backstory, I'm pretty sure I came out of the womb with a ball in my hand. So I've been playing baseball forever. Grew up in Colorado, where I played high school amongst some really, really good players, some guys that are flashing it in the pros all over the place. Played my college ball up here in Wisconsin, which is where I live now. And really what got me into college baseball was right around the age of 12 or 13. I can remember had a good family friend of mine whose little brother played at TCU when Schlossnagle was there. And I would always went 2 years in a row to the Big 12 conference tournament and watch TCU take both of them. And from then on out, fell in love with college baseball. And ever since, every single year, I just lived for it.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, if anybody's just tuning in for the College World Series, my backstory, just a little bit of it. 2019, that Eric Bakich Michigan team got me hooked. I grew up in the Mitten State, where college baseball, it's non-existent to 90% of our population here. Everybody that's like, oh, you cover college baseball? How do you do that? Where is college baseball? And it's everybody only thinks of Michigan State, and then everything down south. And I mean, that experience, I've always watched only the College World Series up until 2019, but after that I just told myself, hey, this is a really good brand of baseball. I want to continue watching it, because pro sports is kind of stale to me, in my opinion, and to the entire college experience in their opinion as well. What is your opinion on the SEC ACC challenge that we've got in this year's College World Series?
It's interesting, and part of me wants to bash it for NIL and transfer portal stuff. But at the same time, when you look at the roster makeups of these teams, so many of these guys are bounce offs from mid majors and Ivy League schools. We saw some of the best teams in the country roll out D3 guys. UConn rolled out 9 D3 guys. Duke had a handful of D3 guys.
Yeah.
Even D2, it's moving away from the typical product of 4-year D1 and JUCO guys to where these guys are taking 5th years and bouncing all over the place. So as much as I want to complain about it, because I don't love the NIL transfer portal structure, it's really cool to see these guys that may not get an opportunity at the smaller schools be able to play in Omaha.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the in-between for me too, because I do like the Cinderella story of every once in a while, and I will root for the Cinderella until this point, but at the same time, this is the pinnacle of the sport, and that's the only time of the year where we're guaranteed we're going to be shown on ESPN, ESPN2, ABC. And I still think our sport's growing. I still think college baseball is on the up. And if the best way to grow this thing is to showcase the best teams and the best talent, I do think 8 really good teams emerged from this year's NCAA tournament. I apologize, as that's never happened to me before. I just got kicked out of here somehow. Wi-Fi is okay, but yeah, it just completely booted me. I don't know what happened there. It was like an error on StreamYard's point. But yeah, the college baseball experience, I mean, it was perfect timing too, an ad read. So, the SGPN promo for this month, for this week is the college baseball experience. We're live streaming each night here on YouTube or available for download on all podcast platforms for daily coverage and picks of the greatest show on dirt, the College World Series, until the end of June. Also, Circa announced their giveaway of $16 million in guaranteed prizes for Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Sign up today in Vegas and play from anywhere with footballproxy.com, promo code SGP to get $50 off. That's footballcontestproxy.com, promo code SGP. Will, we haven't had the College World Series start yet. We still got time to jump in on some futures. What's your opinion on this entire field? As I'm getting a crack up from the YouTube chat talking about how I disappeared here. You can go to any national championship futures or some bracket pool futures. How's your current futures portfolio looking like? As we enter this beginning of the tournament.
Yeah, so my whole portfolio got kind of wiped, and it was looking really good when we hit the field of 64 preseason. I had Arkansas to make and win it, Wake Forest to make and win it, UC Santa Barbara to make it, Duke to make it, TCU to make it, and TCU was the only one who didn't make the field of 64, but all the others got bounced in their respective regionals. So I've been kind of eyeing up some other things, and I can't remember the specific stat. I want to say it's like 6 of the last 7 have come from bracket 2.
Yeah.
And I believe that this year is going to be different. I really think it's bracket 1 this year. I've been eyeing up Florida State right around that plus 450, plus 500 mark to make the final. And then I believe they're right around plus 900 to win it all. So that's where my eyes are going. That's something that I'm heavily considering. That's probably what I'm going to lock tomorrow. Is Florida State to come out of bracket 1. I love that team right now. I think they're the most balanced team full field. I know Tennessee statistically is probably the most balanced if you look at just pure numbers, but given the games that I've watched them in, I think they can lay some eggs if you can hold that offense down. And I think Florida State's offense is more than good enough to get to any of their pitchers.
Yeah, I kind of have the same kind of feelings around North Carolina as you do Florida State. And I already had a piece on Florida State to not only make it to the College World Series, but also on them to win it all. I was on them in the preseason during our show for the ACC conference show. Never did I think they were going to be this good, but I did think they had an outshot shot of getting here. So that was a really nice cash last weekend. But also, so I have a piece of Florida State to win it all. I added on with North Carolina, but I also got Florida from the preseason and then Texas A&M from the middle of the year. But I completely jumped off both of those teams. I think NC State and Kentucky are the more live ones here in bracket 2. So I actually took the Wolfpack and the Wildcats to win bracket 2 over on Bet Rivers because Texas A&M is minus 110 to win bracket 2 and appear in the finals. So I thought that was good value for either one of those two from the first game on Saturday. Let's without further ado, let's jump into game 1 here on Friday. Is Virginia and North Carolina. We got the Tar Heels at minus 140, The Wahoos plus 105. Your projected starting pitcher matchup, it's all but confirmed here, as we figured out in the post-game in the pre-tournament press conferences. Virginia's going to start their ace, Evan Blanco. Left-handed pitcher who's a sophomore, 8-3 with a 3.69 ERA, 95 strikeouts, 25 walks, and 95.2 innings with a 3.28 SIERA. And North Carolina is going to trot out. I think I screwed this up when I was tweeting out a lot of the clips today. I think I misinterpreted Coach Scott Forbes. I think they're going to go with Jason DeCaro. I tweeted out Sprague, but it sounded like he was saying that Sprague would probably start game 2 for them. So I think it's Jason DeCaro, their freshman right-hander, who's 6-1 with a 3.89 ERA, 72 strikeouts, 40 walks, and 85.2 innings, 4.48 SIERA. So that's your pitching matchup. Two teams here that have played solid all season long. The total's 12, minus 115 both ways. North Carolina minus 1.5 plus 120. Virginia plus 1.5 minus 115. These odds are coming straight from DraftKings. Will, how are you going to divvy up these two teams here on this game?
This is an interesting one, mostly because North Carolina was really heating up. I talked a lot about Vance Honeycutt in our preseason show with the ACC tournament. He's got a top 5 talent, but strikeout concerns. He's been absurd in the postseason so far. I mean, he's shown that he is if not the best player in the field right now. I know in the media day conferences, they talked about how pretty much any ball put in that outfield, he's going to go track down. He's the best defending outfielder in all of college baseball that we've seen in quite some time. Just packs a punch. He's awesome. I just like this offense a lot. And I know Virginia is no slouch on offense, but the pitching matchup, I like DeCaro more than I like Evan Blanco. Blanco has shown that he gives up a decent amount of contact. He's got a 261 batting average against. I think Carolina can get to him. And I like Carolina's bullpen. They roll out some solid arms between Matt Mathis and Aiden Ha. Both of them, those are their two main bullpen guys. Lots of strikeouts per 9. I really like what they roll out. There's not going to be a lot of gimmies in this one. It's going to be a really hard fought. I don't believe they played in the regular season, if I remember correctly.
No, they did. Carolina was on the road in Charlottesville. They lost 2 of 3, looking to even up the season series here.
Yeah, I love Carolina in this spot. You mentioned that you're on them to come out of this bracket. I really like that play. They're just a really hot team. And at this point in the season, you can't really go off of just stats. I mean, you got to look at the hot hand right now. And I think Carolina in bracket 1 is the hot hand.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Carolina too. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to personally bet this. The matchup here advantage goes to North Carolina, especially facing the southpaw pitcher and Blanco. Blanco's been good so far this season up until this point. But North Carolina's lineup, it's one of the best in the country without splits, but the splits actually favor them against the left-handed pitching. It's a 1039 OPS against southpaws. And I think if they're able to get the Blanco early, they're able to get into this Virginia pen, which I just don't think is as good as North Carolina's. And you didn't mention their closer for North Carolina, Dalton Pence, who looked outstanding against West Virginia too. So North Carolina, I think, is the team to beat in this matchup. I'm going to go with that. I think even minus 1.5 on UNC if you want a little bit of plus money play. I don't think that pick is too bad here. Total at 12. My pick's probably going to be to the over here with these two offenses. Will, any kind of sort of leans or just either which way on run line or total in this matchup? Any more analysis?
Definitely Carolina on the run line. I'm not a big totals guy. Overs are going to come at a premium at this field. It's been known this is a huge field. We heard a couple of coaches talk about how if the wind's blowing in, nothing's going to get out. Coach Schlossnagle for Texas A&M talked about it with his starting pitching matchup on Saturday. It's pretty true. Like, I don't think a lot of overs are actually going to hit. This is probably one to look for. But DeCaro is really, really strong for Carolina. I think if anyone can hold down this Virginia offense, it's him. And when they pass the baton, if they're selling out in this game, if it's a tight game, they're going to go to their best arms. And I don't think Virginia is going to hold up. We saw a lot of meltdowns happen in this Virginia bullpen over the course of the year. And if it is tight, that could happen. We could see an implosion and Carolina get to them late. So I would even lean Carolina run line as well. I think that might even be a really solid play.
Yeah, awesome. So even a little bit more onto the DeCaro part. He's not going to blow you away. 72 strikeouts and 85.2 innings. But I think I said it on a couple of shows now. Vance Honeycutt in center field, and also D'Onofrio in right field. They've got two really good speedsters in the outfield here. A lot of room to roam for these two guys to be able to track down a lot of those warning track fly balls that a lot of teams are trying to hit out of the yard. So I think that's an aspect of North Carolina that a lot of people are overlooking here a little bit. So I definitely think that suits them well with a pitch to contact starting rotation and a really solid bullpen. So yeah, North Carolina is going to be the play for both of us here in game one. Underdog Fantasy has picked 8 not live now currently for the NBA Finals. You can create entries up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex the entries. So you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. And the best part is you can win up to 325x your original amount. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. So don't miss your chance to try it out before it's gone. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And don't forget to check out their player projections for the College World Series, as they already have the tab up and loaded. We're just waiting on them for the drop. Their opening player projections here for Friday's games. I'll be making a social media clip if they do so. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, because if you're betting on NBA player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is a prediction and projections app that makes data and analytics and sports betting easy for everyone. Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants with over 3 years of data that help you drive you to better AI-backed betting decisions. Prop predictions are paired with trend graphs so you can see for yourself whether or not the projection has meat, making betting easier for sports bets or DFS picks. From superstars to bench players, Rhythm finds the best player prop lines, all backed by best-in-class data, without you needing to endlessly scroll a sports book or look at multiple sites for trends and predictions. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Okay, we're back here on the college baseball experience. We've got one more matchup to discuss here today. The nightcap should be a fun one between Florida State and Tennessee. This one begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. The Volunteers are minus 175. This price keeps trickling down, and the Seminoles are plus 135. Totals set at 10.5, minus 120 towards the over 10.5, minus 110 towards the under. And Tennessee minus 1.5 is plus 105. Florida State plus 1.5, minus 135. Our projected pitching matchup for this one: Jamie Arnold, the ace of Florida State, is going to get the ball from Link Jarrett here. Sophomore left-handed pitcher, probably your best pitcher remaining in this year's NCAA tournament. He's 11-3 with a 2.77 ERA, 155 strikeouts, 22 walks, and 100.2 innings with a 163 Sierra. The knock on him, I guess, recently has been in the postseason. His 3 postseason starts, it's a 4.43 ERA, which, in general is average around the country, but it's not up to par with his 2.77 elite ERA this season. Going for Tennessee is their duo of Chris Stamos, the graduate senior left-hander, 3-0 with a 3.60 ERA. The nugget on him is he's allowed at least 1 run in 6 straight appearances. And then coming out of the bullpen in long relief here for Tennessee, after Stamos goes one time through the order, will be A.J. Causey, the junior right-hander, who's 12-3 on the season, 3.77 ERA, 117 strikeouts, 19 walks, and 86 innings pitched. Will, you talked very highly about Florida State early on in the show. Are you on them here in this game against the Vols?
Yeah, this is going to be a game that I'm going to bet on Florida State. It's hard not to back Jamie Arnold. I know UConn kind of got to him, and Tennessee's offense is significantly better than UConn's. You've got guys like Blake Burke and Christian Moore and Dylan Dreiling, who all can easily leave the yard, and Billy Amick for that matter. This offense is super high powered. But if anyone's going to hold him down, it's going to be Jamie Arnold, And even though he struggled against UConn, he still got through 5 innings, 5+. He went 5 and change. He's a workhorse. I mean, definition of a workhorse. Over 100 innings on the year. That's just impressive with a college schedule. His thing, he doesn't walk guys, so everything has to be earned from Tennessee. And from what I've seen from this Tennessee offense is they can struggle with guys like that. We saw it early on in the season. Oklahoma State held them down in that opening tournament. They struggled to get guys in and score when there was no free bases awarded. And I think that Jamie Arnold can keep them in there. And if this is going to be a game that goes down to the wire, AJ Causey is awesome for them. When he comes in, he's got a funky arm angle. The Florida State offense is probably going to struggle with him a little bit, but I just think that across the board, Florida State has an advantage here. We've already seen that line move down. I've seen it as high as plus 200 earlier in the week, and it's come all the way down. So it's telling you people like the Seminoles. I like the Seminoles here. What do you like?
So I got the early number in Florida State. I thought the plus 180 when we saw it early on FanDuel when that opened early in the week. I thought that was ridiculous. I jumped on that, and obviously it's shortened up by a lot. I had mentioned it when we were doing our show earlier on in the week that I'd probably end up jumping in here on a Tennessee Texas A&M parlay, and that's what I'm going to end up recommending. I don't know how far along Arnold's going to be able to go in this game. And I think I trust Tennessee's bullpen a little bit more than Florida State's. Florida State, they do have 3 sub-5 ERA arms in the back end. Brennan Oxford is a huge arm for them. He's going to be on full rest, ready to go. I'm not sure how successful Florida State's going to be able to hold down the Tennessee offense. I still have my doubts on that. As Tennessee, I want to see them play one game before I truly know whether their power is going to translate into Omaha or not. So I'm probably going to end up going on to a plus money parlay here with Tennessee and Texas A&M to make sure that I'm at least coming out with some cash in this matchup. Your thoughts here? I know you said you're not really a total guy, but Florida State plus 1.5 at minus 130 is not a terrible look, especially when you're looking at a low scoring game, possibly, because that's how I think this one's going to go. I think Florida State ends up scratching 1 or 2 across on Stamos, and then Causey comes in. He goes 6 or 7 like he has most of the season, and he's able to keep Florida State down for a little bit. It's going to be a low scoring matchup. I feel the total at 10.5. A lot of action actually going towards the over here, so I would possibly wait for this one to climb up to 11. And, if you're interested on a total, jump in on the under with your College World Series unders in the first games with all the aces and the fresh bullpens. That's a very notable and very backable strategy. In this game, I would subscribe to that theory. But Florida State in a low scoring game script, you would like the plus 1.5, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're spot on with the under too. This is a total that I would definitely look at. Like we've said it over and over again, it's going to be a broken record, but overs come at a premium in Omaha. And when you're rolling out 2 of the best arms in the field left, you're probably not going to scrape across many runs. I could see this being a 4-2 game kind of thing, 4-3, 5-4. You don't typically see college baseball lines that are in the single digits, and this one is really close to single digits. That tells me I think it's going to go under. As even with action moving towards the over, that's definitely an under that's in play.
Yeah, 100%. It makes perfect logical sense. I mean, like you said, a lot of the totals when books don't really have an idea of where this thing's going to go, it usually opens around 12.5 that you'll see. The deeper it goes into the weekend, it's 14, 14.5. Us getting a 10.5 is pretty indicating that we're going to get a little bit of a dogfight here. And I mean, it goes to what Link Jarrett said in the press conference. It's going to be a clash of titans. Both these offenses are very, very talented. And Arnold is also probably the best pitcher remaining in this NCAA tournament. And he's going up against maybe the best offense remaining in the NCAA tournament. We'll find out kind of what happens here. But yeah, that's our angles here. We'll come back with our best bets in just a second here after this quick break. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of MLB, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch, with killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Personally, I bought through Game Time tickets to go see Jack Leiter's MLB debut in Detroit. You can use Game Time to go to any College World Series game of your choosing here, if you're in the Omaha area during the next 2 weeks. So you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. You can also save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats for you. Toggling this feature, the total up front shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a great panoramic view of your seat from the app before you buy. And don't forget about that lowest price guarantee, as Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find a better price out there on the market. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SCFBX. CFBX, $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So we've got the YouTube chat rolling here a little bit here. Dean says, is that Will guy single? And then we also got Drip Tona in here saying these teams both have great offenses, and it's at 10.5. It's a bigger field than Omaha. What does Vegas know? That's kind of the feeling here on this game, right? So Will, I'll let you take the torch here. Start us off. Give us your favorite bet here, and anything else that you're also playing on this great Friday of action in College World Series.
I think my favorite bet of the day is going to be the North Carolina Tar Heels on the money line. Depending on where you get it, I think you mentioned minus 125. I'm looking at minus 130. I love it at that price even still. Advantage. Virginia is a team that relies on the long ball, and I just don't think it's going to happen, not only against the pitching of North Carolina tomorrow, but also in the Omaha field. It's just not going to happen, at least at the way that they rely on it. So I'm really looking at the Tar Heels to take game one, and I do really like that under in game two. I'll be looking at Florida State on the money line, but if that one is kind of, putting you off just because of how dominant Tennessee has been, look at the under.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm also in North Carolina right there with you. That's my favorite play tomorrow. And earlier on in the week, if they listened to our College World Series preview show, I gave out Florida State at plus 180. I'm going to turn around and give out Tennessee, Texas A&M on a parlay at plus 137. You'll be guaranteed to make some money if both of those teams win in a parlay or if just Florida State wins. So that's the way that I'm personally attacking that. We have a nice middle. If you want to call that a mill, it's more of a hedge than if anything, but you're coming out plus. That's going to wrap it up for the show. Will, any more analysis that you have for the people, if it pertains to any Saturday games, so North Carolina State against Kentucky or Florida A&M? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I want you to have the opportunity to share a pick or two that you might have on those possible games too.
Yeah, definitely looking at Texas A&M on Saturday. I'll probably be looking at the run line because the money line's right around minus 180 right now. Florida is set to be starting Liam Peterson, a freshman, not Jack Caglione. So I think it's a really good bet, even without Braden Montgomery for Texas A&M. I think they're going to get it done. I think they hold the advantage in pretty much every spot with that pitching matchup. Just a word of advice, don't be put off by NC State's stats. If you recall from the ACC preview show, I was really low on this team. I was low on this team throughout of the season, and they might be the scariest team in this field. They are the hottest team in college baseball right now, playing the revenge angle from the 2021 COVID season. They've got some guys from that team. It's a very scary team. Like, don't be surprised if that team it runs through bracket 2. The stats will not indicate anything. If you look at the stats, all 8 teams, you won't even understand why they're there. They're the hottest team in college baseball right now. So watch out for the Wolfpack. I'm really looking at bracket 1 to take the cake, though. I think I think there's 3 possible champions in bracket 1.
One last question for you: ACC or SEC? Which conference wins this thing this year?
SEC.
You lagged out at the beginning, and all I heard was C.
ACC.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'm on team ACC too. I think NC State's a threat in bracket 2, and I do like North Carolina and Florida State in bracket 1. It's really just if Tennessee can screw up the ACC party in bracket 1, right? But yeah, like if anybody's looking forward to my Saturday picks, tomorrow night we'll have a show. I have a new guest on tomorrow night. We'll be recapping the action from Friday, picking the games for Saturday. Each show throughout this week, I'm bringing on new guests. I wanted to invite Will on for the first show because he'd come through for us. Not only did he do a preseason conference preview with us for the ACC, but also we had him on during the middle of March when we were also doing a ton of March Madness content. He really came through. So we appreciate that a lot, Will. Thank you very much. Yeah, check out daily articles on sportsgamblingpodcast.com that I'll be writing. Of course, we mentioned the daily shows, but also check out the college baseball picks page on Sports Gambling Podcast as well. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Sorry. Sports Gambling Podcast had a College World Series preview show that we did. Colby is previewing all 134 college football teams in this preseason. He had Will on last year previewing Colorado. Dion and the Buffs, their first year in the Big 12. Who knows what's going to happen this year? They hit on the season win total last season. Colby's predicting all 134 via win total and giving out some futures left and right on some of these episodes. So highly encourage you guys tuning into those shows. And if you're a baseball bettor that is looking for something after the College World Series, the MLB Gambling Podcast is rolling along, and the NBA during the NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now, and the finals for both leagues. So I highly encourage you. There's something for everything, or something for everyone with the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. So highly encourage you to check that out. But as for this show, you've been experiencing the better side of college baseball with the College Baseball Experience. Adios, amigos.